Hey everybody, Ted Forbes here from The Art of Photography, and we are making videos all week in a shoebox. That's right, we are in New York City. So I'm back in New York City this week to start phase 2 of the Harold Feinstein documentary. And if you're not familiar with what I'm doing on this project, I will link up to some videos in the show notes that explain it. But basically back in December, I was invited, I had the opportunity to go up to Boston and do an interview with Harold Feinstein for the show. And what happened was I ended up spending about 3 days with Harold and his wife Judith. We did a ton of filming, and this really quickly turned into a career retrospective. And I decided to do a full-blown documentary on it. So what I'm doing in New York is the second phase of this. And I wanted to incorporate New York into the film somehow because Harold grew up here. He spent several points in his career here and did some major work here. So with B-roll and some other images, I wanted to incorporate that into the film. The other thing I wanted to do was see if I could get some other voices in on the project to help round things out a little bit. And so I'm really excited because I've lined up 4 people to interview for this. I'm doing all the interviews on Saturday, and I'm filming everything at the YouTube space in New York. And if you're not familiar with YouTube spaces, again, I'll link in the show notes, but these are amazing. YouTube has 5 of these worldwide. There's one in London, Tokyo, Los Angeles, New York, and I think they're opening Brazil this year. And it's a full production facility for doing video work. And if you are a YouTube creator and you have subscribers above a certain threshold, you're allowed to use the space absolutely free of charge, and they have equipment and everything. So I'm really excited to have YouTube involved with this because I didn't have to lug all my gear up this time, and it's just much easier. And so I'm really excited to be doing this at the space. I'll do some behind the scenes, and I've got some people with the show who watch the show who have agreed to help me on this, and I'm interested in meeting them, and it's going to be a blast. I'm really, really excited about this. So I want to tell you a little bit about the 4 people I'm interviewing for this, and I think this is interesting because they are pretty major figures in photography, but they're not all photographers. And so it's really cool. The first person I have is Howard Greenberg, who owns Howard Greenberg Gallery here in Manhattan, which is probably my favorite gallery in the world, and I'm really stoked that Howard has agreed to do Harold's project with me. Anyway, it's going to be amazing. Howard has a brief appearance in the Vivian Maier film. He had some commentary into that, and he is one of the big names in photography, particularly in New York. I've also got a gentleman by the name of Corcoran, who is the curator at the Museum of the City of New York, and I think he's going to bring a great perspective. And I also have his predecessor, Bob Shamis. And Bob Shamis is a really interesting guy because he was a curator. He's been involved with publishing some major collections of photography, book-wise. And then what's really interesting is Bob is also a photographer, and his first photography teacher was Harold Feinstein. And so it's going to be really interesting to get his perspective in on that and get him to chime in on what Harold was like as a teacher. Harold is kind of renowned for his teaching and has a lot of students globally who speak very highly of him. So I think that's going to be really cool too. And then the last person I have is a gentleman named A.D. Coleman. And A.D. Coleman is an independent writer. I believe he's done some curating work as well. He was the photo critic at the New York Times for a number of years, and he has a lot of history with Harold. And so I'm really interested in AD as well. Anyway, all 4 people I'm really psyched about. It was moving mountains to get all this to work out, and I really appreciate all these guys willing to come over on Saturday and do interviews. I've got my YouTube orientation tomorrow night, and I'm here for 5 days. So there's going to be some other things we're going to do too. I'm going to try and push out a video every day that I'm in New York, and we'll see how this goes. But I have a little bit of downtime, and I'd really like to do some things here that I've always kind of wanted to do. And like, for instance, I've always wanted to do a photography tour of New York that I could take you guys on, and maybe I'll do that one day here. So anyway, I will do my best to push a video out every day. I've already noticed that the Wi-Fi is not what it was advertised to be, and it is pretty lame. So we'll see what we can do on that. Fortunately, there's some free alternatives for Wi-Fi in New York, so I will upload as much as I can over the next couple days. So anyway, excited about that. If you live in New York, we will have time to do a meetup this time. And what we're going to do right now, I will let you know if there's some other opportunities, but right now it's looking like Sunday is going to be the best. And I'm looking at Sunday afternoon. Now, if you're interested in coming to a meetup and you live in New York, keep an eye on the website. I will put everything on the homepage. So if you go to theartofphotography.tv, I'll have all the details there. Last time we went to a bar in Brooklyn that has some nice food and wonderful drinks called Nita Nita, N-I-T-A, N-I-T-A. And it's near Williamsburg, and it's a great place to meet up. So we may do that on Sunday. And as soon as I confirm that, I'm sorry, I'm kind of putting preliminary information out there, I will let you know on the show. So anyway, I'll link it up in the show notes, but look at theartofphotography.tv. And it's going to be a fun trip. I'm really excited, and there's going to be a lot that we can do up here. So anyway, until the next video, I'm going to see if I can edit this, and we'll see how the upload goes. So once again, this is another episode of The Art of Photography. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.